Where are the minutes at?
They're attached to your email.
Do you wanna look at them, is that what you're saying?
No, I can look it up here, I guess.
Here.
Oh, there it is. Minutes and financial reports. Right there,
Yeah,
number one.
that was the last time, which was in January, February, sorry.
Alright.
There wasn't really any action, it was just all discussion.
Yeah.
And it happened the way I remember it.
Exactly how it is.
Yes.
Alright, so where do I start here?
You don't have to read it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we don't have to, we're supposed to review it before we get here, and all we have to do is approve.
Okay, sorry. Thought I had to reopen.
Uh-uh. Okay, so you're on to farmer's market now.
Alright, now on the farmer's market.
Okay, so we need to figure out what we're gonna do this year so we can get it posted and make adjustments to our application. Are we gonna do this on Saturdays, every Saturday? I know Mount Pleasant has a farmer's market the second Saturday and the fourth Saturday. So it's really,
So the survey said, do we care about, I mean, do we wanna talk a little bit about it?
I do want to, because the people that were opposed to being in the park that are here, that would normally come to farmer's market, have now changed their mind. They
After-
don't hate it at the park.
After the event?
yeah.
And it wasn't an overwhelming, I mean, it was, most people wanted it on the square, but it wasn't crazy.
But,
But they all wanted it on Saturday.
Yeah.
the biggest complainers did extremely well at the park,
Mhm.
at the event.
Okay,
So
So
they
they-
changed their mind and they don't hate the park.
Yeah,
okay.
our exact words.
That's
We
okay.
didn't hate it.
It took a
It was
little
great. I'm like,
convincing.
I think it was an absolutely wonderful event.
I
in
do
the
too.
park.
And I got a lot of great responses. I'll
People
read those once we
wrote
get to
down
the event, but
Golf carts.
Alright, yeah, dead batteries. So on the vendors for the farmer's market, that's not just agricultural food relations, right?
it's farmers, bakers, and makers. And that's something else we
It's
need.
gotta be-
So it can be
it's gotta
crafts.
homemade,
Homemade crafts,
Yeah.
homemade foods,
Food.
breads, et cetera, and
Farmers, bakers, and
vegetables,
makers.
agricultural related produce possibly. Okay.
Okay, so we are going to have some people that are like the one lady. Are we going to allow people like that do the?
Be considered farmer's market, they
Have
have to offer something that's homemade.
Okay.
So the lady with the bread and stuff like that, she could be there.
Well, I'm thinking about another lady that's going to say something, but
Well, I
I
think
mean,
the
you
key
can't
to
do
that,
resale clothes
She's-
from market, it's not a,
Well, she sells a product.
okay.
I think the key to making it successful is just making sure we've got good, clear signage going to the
Yeah, I
park,
need to
so
work
that
on
way
finding some
those
of
that
those
are
too.
passing through here that would normally see it
Yes.
set up here is going to see the signage pointing them where to go for that farm. Because they're gonna go another city block. I mean, if they're willing to drive all the way into town, what's another city block
Ye-
that direction?
I agree.
And just really in the social media post, we just need to have really prominent that it's a
Mhm.
Little Creek Park, and
Yeah.
signage downtown, I think will be fine.
And
Mhm.
we could do more signs like we did for the spring event.
Okay.
Down.
The little corrugated signs.
And of
Oh.
course, I guess we'll allow food trucks down there at that time while they're doing their thing too as well.
If they get their permit, they can be there 7 days a week.
Right.
And I sent out an email to all of the food truck vendors that we have had in the past. I think I sent an email out to probably 25, 30 different food trucks today.
Did you get any
No.
responses back?
Not yet. So I told them about setting up, 7 days a week, buying the permit from now to October. I told them about Food Truck Fridays, and then I told them about the farmers market, just to be following our Facebook page, and that I would send out another email. So hopefully we'll get some feedback on that. So
On the, whether they pay monthly or they pay for the whole summer, it was almost half and half. Is there an option to do both, or what did y'all decide?
yeah,
We're gonna decide,
Mhm.
do you wanna do $50 a month, or do you?
What has it been in the past?
We've not charged in the past.
Okay.
And
For
when you,
farmer's market or food truck?
farmer's market.
Okay.
So when you don't charge, they don't owe you anything, and they show up when they show up.
Right.
If you make them pay something, they tend to more show up.
Is it a lot of overhead for y'all to offer both options?
No,
'Cause-
but if, I don't wanna come up here every Saturday morning and get ready for them and nobody show up,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
cause I don't get paid for coming. So-
Well, okay. So do they typically pay the day of, or do they have to pay in advance?
Y'all are gonna
We
decide.
need to decide.
Mhm.
Well,
I'll
I
shut
think
up and let
if,
you
I
run
think
the
if
meeting.
any of us are gonna show up on a Saturday morning, I think it should be something paid in advance, because
Yeah.
if they've got the option to pay to show up on Saturday versus go somewhere
It's a
else,
last minute decision.
they're not gonna come here, and then somebody's gonna be sitting in the park on a Saturday.
Twiddling
No
their
one-
thumbs.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought
Yeah.
too. Maybe they have to be registered by Friday at noon or something, and then, but I mean, it seems like it would reduce overhead, if you just, and if you gave the option to pay X amount for the whole summer. It'd reduce overhead for you, and then for us,
Do you wanna make it available every Saturday?
Well, that's what everybody's telling me to talk about it.
Yeah, because we'll have to volunteers swap out on Saturdays.
You know, if we have a lot that go to Mount Pleasant,
Mm-hmm.
so we could do like the first and third.
That's what I was thinking too, because the second and fourth, the people that are locally here that would come, they're already signed up for those ones in Mount Pleasant.
Cause that's huge over there,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Because they have what, the
Where do
union,
they do it?
they do this, the second Saturday downtown, but they have another one, it's what, Union Hill Market?
That's where that Rico thing
Mhm.
ring is.
Mm-hmm.
Doing their
But it's
pickups.
huge, it's steadily growing. So first and third,
How much do you wanna charge?
any ideas?
Do we know if they pay anywhere else?
I would say,
I think it's,
usually
yeah,
50.
well, I think at the Union Hill, it's 25 for just the 10 by 10, $25.
I would say a set amount for a full year, or the 6-month period, whatever it might be, and then
At a discount.
And that's a
at
discount.
a discounted rate. Now, if you wanna show up as a wanted basis, mark it up a little bit more where you,
How much did Winsboro charge?
Seems like it was 50 for the year,
Yeah.
but they may have gone up because it was so popular.
I'll
Mm.
ask. See, you think CJ will know? I can ask her real quick.
She might have. They have one of the actual vendors that serves as their market manager, so staff doesn't have to come up.
Well, that way, at least, if we did it that way, you would know there's gonna be one vendor here, at least. There's going to be someone there in the park.
And it's easier to promote them too whenever they prepay and let us know they're coming, you know?
Yeah.
Because if we can't promote them, it's hard to get people down there.
But I think we need to know what other people are charging. For one thing, I
Mhm.
think we need to be a little bit less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And if Winsboro's charging $50 for the whole year, we can't charge $50 a month, or a week,
that's
I mean,
exactly,
or a month, or whatever.
even 15.
I like the idea that he had about having a vendor that is the one that's in charge of checking people in. That way, none of us have to be down there in case other things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least not have to stay the whole time,
Right.
maybe be down there to get things going,
Mm-hmm.
and then let,
I think it's a great idea too.
It's gotta be on the lesser side, just because
We're trying to
if
get
somebody
them-
just has blueberries, you know, you still want them to come.
Mhm.
But
Right.
if they have to pay $25 to
125.
come.
125
For the year.
for the year. Thank you.
what if we undercut them and did 100?
Single Saturday is $15. You're not gonna pull them there.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
not with,
It's
not
just
there.
not enough. They're not charging enough. And it's so established.
Yeah, but folks here in North aren't going to wanna go, vendors aren't gonna wanna travel in. There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
What if the first year you do 75 for the whole summer?
so
for
too.
the season, see how it goes and kind of
Like May to August.
readjust it from there.
So
Well, let's
May,
see how it goes this year.
I think we actually go through, I think the thing,
September,
our farmer's market goes through September.
I think so, so
May to September.
May to September. And how much for just one? They just wanna show up for just pay,
Retro charge is 15.
so 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine, $10.
Do they have to pay that ahead of time, or they can pay when they arrive?
The morning of, or,
I think that they can pay it, the morning of, to show up.
How do you know, what if no one ever comes? Like, how are we gonna get people there?
Well, that kinda happened last year. Well, it rained for months, every Thursday. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Maybe they have to pay it by the Friday before.
I think so. That way
That's
we
what I was
don't-
thinking.
Yeah, that way you know who's coming.
I kinda like the idea you said a while ago, you know, Friday by noon to be set up by Saturday morning, you know, and,
Maybe it'll work and maybe it won't, but at least that's.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
it will,
give it
it'll give them some incentive to show up or pay the bill before,
Or maybe we could
instead of
do,
being last minute, then we can got an idea, okay, well, somebody came in and paid for $10, and they're planning on setting up, we got 3 people coming and doing that, okay, so now we know we gotta have somebody there to collect the cash for whatever.
Mhm.
and maybe have a price, I mean, if it's $10 up until Friday, charge 15 or 20 if you come rolling in without pay on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, like a early,
Yeah.
like make it an early.
Like a late
bird
fee.
special or
registration.
Cause you don't wanna turn them away,
something. No,
but if you're charging them the same amount on Saturday morning as Friday, that's not really giving them an
Yeah,
incentive.
like a
Once
late
they
fee
find that
charge.
out, to
Yeah.
pay ahead of time.
So late
So-
fee charge maybe 15
So,
or 20,
so 10 if it's before and
and 20 if it's day of. I
I
think
would,
so.
I don't know if I go, I'd say 15.
I do 15. That's
Deal.
what Winsboro's charging.
Okay. Is that all we need to figure out for that? I think so. And then we'll work on the application.
What would the time be?
Ma'am?
Like
Yeah.
8 to
The time
12
frame.
or?
7:30 to noon or 2. Or
What did,
8 to 2.
what did we put last, oh, we were doing it at night last year, so what did we,
7:30 feels early. Probably.
yeah,
I mean, cause one of us, we're gonna have volunteers, well, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I would think it maybe 9 to 2,
Or
9
8 to 12.
Yeah.
Or 8 to 2.
yeah,
8 to 12. I like
yeah,
8 to 12.
I like that,
That way people have their afternoon.
yeah, I agree.
And it frankly comes alive.
And nobody's,
From 8 to 8:30.
yeah,
Yeah. Out there selling candles and they're melting.
literally,
Saturday afternoon.
yes ma'am. Okay,
And they can come set up at 7.
mhm,
Wait, and do we say first and third?
yes ma'am.
Is this the kind of, I mean, is there, I don't know if it's on here, but are there gonna be people that are gonna want power? Is that gonna be an issue?
We'll just, it'll be in the application. They'll
Mhm.
just have to ask.
Okay, and
Prior
they
to.
can have it if they need it?
Yes.
Mhm.
And this is the application for,
Yeah, that was the one from last year, yeah.
We're
We'll have to fix it.
So where would they set up the park?
I would think where all those,
We could put them under the pavilion, or we could put them up here on the top by the food trucks. There's electricity in both places. They could set up around the
Like
ball
up
field.
by where, like y'all's tech park? Okay. I think that,
cause there's shade there,
there'd be shade and it's close to the food trucks.
mhm,
Right.
And it's close to parking.
And
mhm.
it's close to the
can't think
splash
of it.
pad when they have kids.
That splash pad, I could not believe how busy that thing stayed all day long with that event.
Literally, it was super busy. That was a good move. I loved watching them run barefoot from the splash pad to the bounce houses.
Go
Or
get water.
down to the-
Yeah.
down to the
Grass and
drains,
bounce
and
house.
they're playing in the drain water.
Yeah. So do we want to put the bounce
You're not
houses
bad.
out every first and third Saturday?
No.
Maybe
That'd be
just on the third?
but it'll be
If-
July, they're gonna be
Which Saturday are you
dying in
taking?
there.
whichever.
Yeah.
I'm down for whatever.
On that Saturday.
In July, not the weekend of my birthday, so.
We don't wanna wear out our bounce houses.
Yeah.
We're wear out our public works folks.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
But
yeah.
if you- it's not special anymore if you do it every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. So if we end up doing a concert in the park or something, we'll
Yeah.
come up then.
Okay.
Otherwise, I say no.
Okay,
Yeah.
deal.
Check out the playground, the slide.
Yeah.
So in a minute, we're gonna need a motion. I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all gonna motion.
Thank you. I'll make a motion. You want a motion now?
That's
You
where
need a
I step back
motion
from.
to go forward with
Do
the
y'all have
farmer's
any
market?
other thing? Okay, so I have it the first and third Saturdays from May to September. $75 for the season, $10 if you wanna do it once a week. $15 if you pay the day before. It'll be from 8 to noon and they can come by 7 a.m. to set up.
And what kind of help, so we're gonna need to volunteer, are we gonna need a schedule where we're all taking days?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And-
after we get, after I get the application fixed, then we'll send a calendar out of the days that we need help.
Okay. And then, in the hours and all that, okay.
Okay, so are you making a motion for?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, approve going forward with the farmer's market.
I'll second that motion.
Check that off the
All in
list.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to our discussion items, and so let's talk about the spring event. It was great. It was, and Crystal worked her butt off out there directing traffic. I got a lot of good feedback. I sent out an email a couple days after the event to all of our vendors, and I got nothing but positive feedback. Everybody was positive about it. There was the only negative I seen was someone said that. Hold on, let me find it. It was great. I kind of wished we were closer to the majority of the vendors instead of down at the bottom of the hill, but someone had to do it, so it was good. So they understood, but they really didn't like being at the bottom of the hill, but that's okay.
But as it grows, it's not gonna matter.
That's
because
right.
That's going to not be an
Mhm.
issue anymore.
But that was the only negative thing, and that wasn't even really that negative.
Did we have a total?
Yeah, what was the total number of vendors?
63, I think. Mhm. And then hold on, I wrote
And
some
it
stuff.
stayed
What- do you
busy
remember
all
what it was
day.
last year?
Ma'am,
What was it last
It
year?
was 100 and
it was 100.
No, it was more.
Yeah,
That was the.
Yeah, but that was.
but a lot of
older,
those were
but-
like churches, and then
There
like
was a lot of more.
Well, and
more
that was the-
informational.
There was
the
informational booth.
and all that stuff, yeah. That's not
It was a beautiful day. It was a great event.
you couldn't have asked for better
And
weather.
it stayed busy. It was busier at times than others. It kind of had a,
Lull.
ebb and flow, but it was consistently busy.
Mhm. And then I was thinking maybe for like to encourage people to stay for the concert, to give them a discount vendor fee for inside the fence that will encourage them to stay all night long.
Well, we're also going back to the table with community events,
Okay.
and we're talking about starting the music at 5
Yeah, I think that'd
and
be
only
great.
going until like 8 or 8:30, because by the time we were all up there all day long, and I mean it was 12:30 by the time I got home.
Yeah.
That, or we're gonna have to start it later in the morning, because 6:30 till
That was
10:30 or
a
11:30.
long
It was a long day.
long day.
Yeah.
And we have to stay till the band's gone. And I
Mhm.
mean, like I think I talked to Kathy at 11,
Yeah.
11:15. They were still up there. I left. We went and unloaded all of our stuff. I went home and bathed, come back up here at midnight, turned all the lights out. By the time I tracked the cop down to let him know that everything was done and we were out of there, but please watch the trailers, it was 12:30 by the time I got home.
I agree too, and I think that more people would attend
Mm-hmm.
the concert.
Once
And I
they
also
leave-
feel like vendors inside there, even all day.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Does it look too empty?
Uh-huh.
And then it would force
Well,
people to the
so
stage.
the jelly ball guy was supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the face painting thing, we had the inside full, and then they just didn't show up.
And the guy that did the balloons and stuff, I thought he was gonna have a bigger setup instead of
He
the
said a stage.
that yeah, a little bitty. And I even asked him, "Do you need a stage?" He was like, "No, I have a setup and things like that." So it was a lot smaller than what I thought it was gonna be. I mean, she stayed busy all day, but I felt like it was supposed to be a little bit bigger than it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she stayed.
Also thought it was gonna be him.
Yes.
And
Well,
talked
he-
about walking.
Yes.
He wanted to be able to walk the whole area the whole day, and then
So I
he came. and
yes,
didn't
he
do
said he
it.
I was
double
gonna say, I don't
booked
think she
himself.
left the dugout.
But the only good thing about it was that woman stayed busy.
She
doing
did stay
all the
busy.
kids.
But if
mean,
that's
it's
something we're
nonstop.
gonna do in the future, then I'm gonna tell him it's gonna have to be him, or she gonna have to move around like he had promised.
Yeah. I agree.
We're going to do something different because I promised street magic. We didn't get no street magic. We just got balloons all day. She was really good at balloons though.
She was doing a lot of
Yeah.
things. And she did wear a magic red cape.
Yes. Well, I went over there. She had the big dress on, and she said, "I'm so sorry. It's really hot, and I had to come out of the dress." I'm like, "It's fine. I'm kind of glad you took the dress off."
The bounce houses were busy.
Yeah.
The bounce houses
All
were,
Mhm.
I don't know how they weren't worn out, like, even up by the time the end of that day, because they never stopped.
They didn't.
All day.
I think they were when we were trying to take them. The kids were like, "Oh man."
I do say that the animals need to be moved, like, maybe in the back corner,
Mhm.
They need
the
more
far
shade,
back
yeah.
corner.
And I think
because
we
right there
plan-
in the middle, and then we have concert, and even though, fortunately, we didn't need that area, but hopefully
Yeah.
we'll grow to where we do, and then
Well,
there's,
the back corner though
things.
was wet.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
was it?
I was gonna put them back there, and then yeah, it was mushy. So, but yeah, I think maybe do something different with the animals.
you know, I think those people, having to ask the vendors to move, and then us having to help move them inside,
Yeah,
have them go in there, make an incentive for them to move in.
Yeah.
I agree.
And leave them there, and us start the music earlier, because a lot of people said, "We're coming back, we're going to come back," but then you leave, you've already been up there, you're
Yeah.
tired,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't come back.
You're spent, and then you're like,
Get home, your kids fall asleep.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Take a nap and you wake
So
up.
I think a discount price for the ones wanting to stay all night inside the fence would be good. Something I
Yeah,
think.
but you gotta give, also, if they say they're gonna take the discounted rate to stay all night, we need to make sure they're staying all
Well,
night.
Well, that's true.
And not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna take the discounted rate and I'm gonna bounce out at
Well,
5 o'clock.
I'll
how do you do
I'll
that?
definitely yeah.
Or
That's
charge
what-
them the full amount, and if they're still there come 5 o'clock, then
We'll reimburse.
reimburse them at that point,
That would
would
probably be
be,
your best route to go, cause otherwise they're gonna show up with the discounted rate and then bounce out
done.
at 5 and we don't have anybody in there.
but I think starting the music somewhere between 5:30, and going till maybe not quite as late at night, because we were all, I could care less. By 9 o'clock that night, I was so over. I was like, please hurry up, get off stage.
Yes. Yes.
The city employees that were dancing with jazz will never come back again.
They're done,
Yep.
done.
But I would
She
rec-
said all men come to the front to dance, they all went the opposite direction. Yeah.
I would probably recommend some more modern country music or something like that.
Well, we're gonna have to get,
Or some.
if we're going to
uprising guy
communities,
that's
we've got to get a
singer.
soundboard, and we've got to get something that works better outside.
Mhm.
That is made to be outside, because the last 2 years they're bringing in their sound equipment, which they use inside clubs or country
Yeah.
clubs, inside buildings, and it's just, because last year we were like, okay, well, I mean, they did send some different people than who we hired last time, so maybe it was them, but I know what they sound like. They don't sound like what they sounded like. We've
Yeah.
used them many times, and it's their sound.
And I've seen some of their videos too. I mean,
Yeah.
it was good.
Their sound was just. We're gonna have to compensate for being outdoors.
I agree.
That, or maybe the city could build us a stage that has a nice cover on it.
Working on it.
And
That's
we're
the Apple figure.
applying for a Parks and Wildlife grant for
An Apple figure.
everything.
It'll look like a Hollywood Bowl.
It will.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all for that. Do we,
Speak
let's
to
say,
the
like
board
season
gets done
tickets or
sometime.
anything that we get with
We
this?
can work something out.
He talks trash, don't listen to him.
Okay.
One more thing that I had on my list
Okay.
was maybe trying to tie the downtown versions in somehow.
Mhm. And I did send out an email to all of them to see how we could incorporate them, but I never got any responses. So.
And maybe, I mean, like, we're all too busy to try to work, try to think up of something.
Yeah.
But maybe, and I was thinking about all that area inside the fence. I don't know, something easy, something that they could, and I don't know how it works food permit wise, like what they're allowed to do. I don't know, I just feel like the purpose of Main Street is for, to really, if you read all of the things, it
Yeah.
really is
Yeah.
for the businesses.
I agree.
So I'm like,
I will say this, is doing ladies night, I did it at the Arts Alliance, and we invited everybody, and we got some rude comments
I'm at,
that they did not want to have any part.
have to like move or do.
And I'm like, we're trying to, incorporate
Incorporate everybody,
everybody. And so it's hard, and I mean, I don't know
It's
what
like
more
you
to
can't
do.
win.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
can't
you do,
win.
and they're mad and if you don't, then they're mad because you don't.
And then it's trying to compete. I'm like, this is not what we're about. This is not what we're doing. So I don't know how to find that
So
happy
maybe
balance.
we need to come up with something
Yeah.
and just ask them to participate.
Mhm.
Now, I will say, I never actually, the 2 times I left the park, we were in a hurry because it was get there, get back, because we were going after things to bring back into the park. It looked pretty busy down here. So, but I never actually, I had intended to walk up here or drive up here and then go in, but they all looked busy, even with us in the park. I don't know if that was just, a typical Saturday for them. I mean, but they all looked pretty busy, especially as the evening started coming around. I know ML Edwards, I couldn't see inside Chop House. ML Edwards was
Yeah.
packed.
Which they were doing crawfish. They might have played off that a
Yeah.
little bit,
Which is smart.
That's great.
them going there, it's super busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we've been doing events down here. It's hard to make the businesses down here happy.
Happy.
They either feel like you're taking away from them or they feel like you're in the way. So it's,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be either one. I want to do things that actually benefits them.
Yeah. Agree.
And
Okay.
there's a lot of politics. So
Yeah.
they
that.
are just like, no, I'm not doing that with them. I'm not doing that with them.
Basically. Okay. Well, we will work on improving the spring event next year. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be really, really good next year. It's going to continue to grow. Food Truck Friday. I already talked about that a little bit. And then the movies in Little Creek Park. Have we figured out anything with as far as the projector? We broke right now, so we'll table that. And then, so I wanted to work on something for next year, so go ahead and start advertising, getting it out there for the Mom and Me, and this is just something I came up off the top of my head. We can name it whatever, but Mom and Me Mother's Day Market. I would like to have it on Smoky Row. I know that there is 14 10 by 10 vendor spots down there, so I was thinking maybe get with some of the restaurants downtown, having like a Mother's Day special. So if they want to eat at the restaurants, they can do that. Maybe even the Chop House doing live music during the day on their patio. Try kind of like the same vibe as Ladies Night Out. Not more than one vendor. And, I don't want to have repeat vendors. Like just one of each. Like one food truck and one maybe like the Cactus Lemonade or the Quick Sip Dirty Sodas. And then maybe even work on a Mother's Day raffle for somebody to, when they come through the door or the gate, that they get to, enter in for coming.
So you're only wanting one food truck?
One food truck.
drink truck.
That way, if somebody wants to eat downtown, they don't have as many food trucks to choose from. That way they,
But she also talked about maybe trying to get Bullpen to
yeah,
do something.
like you,
Since they're right there.
like, because the Chalk House will have brunch probably that day too, so I'm sure they'll maybe we can get them to do live music or at the bullpen, wherever. That's pretty much, maybe some photo minis. Maybe I can get with somebody that's a photographer, and maybe they can offer pictures for, you know, mother and kids, or is this going to be like a mother getaway
Or
type
like
deal?
a photo booth or something.
Yeah, photo minis. I actually reached out to somebody with the photo booth, and she sent me an email back. I talked to her today. Where is that email? I know I printed it. She sent me a packet of her pricing. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh, where did I put it? It might still be on my desk. Anyway, she sent me some pricing, and I'll let you guys look at it. It's kind of pricey, but maybe we could get somebody to sponsor that. And it just depends on the package we get. And she either brings the backdrop and the props and things like that, or she has one where it's like the 3D, where it's a stand where it goes around and does those. She has a couple of different packages to choose from. It goes from, I think, about $750 to $1250. So I think that would be fun to have downtown also. I didn't think maybe the bounce houses would be a good idea, but I figure we could at least talk about it. But maybe fresh flowers for them to, purchase or something like that. But I would like to start advertising it to go ahead and start working on vendors now. That way we can collect the I'm gonna say we're gonna be taking applications, but I want all of us to look at the applications to see who we want there. So nobody's gonna be approved until we all look at it. So I think that's what I got though. We were out there Saturday at the bicycle race, and I was like, I think a Mother's Day market on Smoky Road would be really good. So. Everybody cool with that? Okay.
And that is Mother's Day weekend?
The dates are either the Saturday before or the weekend before that. So it's either May 2nd or May 9th. May 9th is the day before Mother's Day. So I don't know if that would be a good idea, because people
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just won't be there.
I won't
Yeah.
be there either,
Yeah.
because I always do a Mother's Day brunch in Stillwater.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
So-
the weekend before is probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You might wanna do something to target husbands,
Get them to bring their two wives to that,
well, not to bring their wives, but husbands are
to shop.
to shop
Oh.
for their wives,
Okay.
because, men are kind of dull when it comes to that kind of stuff.
It's nice
Yeah.
if you lay it out for them.
Yeah,
They just
here.
have to pick.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can find some vendors that offer certain things that can, for the mother.
Yeah, that's
that
why
he
I
can
only want to
purchase
take.
for his wife.
Yeah,
The
just.
flower bar would be cute.
Yeah, that and like our jewelry vendors,
One of
pieces
those
of
ladies help out
me.
with the flowers and
Have you
supplies.
seen it? There's like, they do silhouettes of like kids' faces. They do them in Rockwell. I'll find the person.
Yes,
But
send
they're
me that.
very cute. And a lot of people do them every year to like see.
Yeah,
Like something like that would be fun.
definitely need to research more things that we can add. Okay, well, I will start working on that, and we'll try to get something out the next month or so. Okay, well, that's all I got. Oh wait, manager update. I'm not done yet. Okay, so we talked about the spring event. Okay, so the Texas Historical Commission came down. They had a lot of positive feedback. They did say that they wanted us to start having, that we need to have these committees. There needs to be like a chair over the committees. So in this packet, we need to figure out who's going to be which group. But I put like a copy of like what each group does, the organization, the economic, promotions. That way when we have our committee lunches, somebody can come with some ideas. No, did I not put it in there? Oh,
Yes, I see. Now it's in there.
okay. I was
Oh,
like,
I thought
dang,
this
I thought about putting it,
I
maybe I
thought this
didn't.
was all the farmers
I
market.
did too.
Sorry. That's why I said
Anyways.
it's all this farmers market.
So when we do we meet up for our lunch, we can, talk about ideas that somebody else, comes up with. That way we can try to, get everybody else's, ideas and stuff. So How do we feel about that?
I mean, and I know I'm new, so I don't mean to, I'm not criticizing. I've read the stuff you gave us
Mhm.
before, but right now I'm just showing up to those meetings. And like after the promotions meeting we had, I did go out and hand out flyers
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff, but I'm not really taking, I haven't been doing more than anything outside of that meeting other than that. So
Right.
if there are things that we need to be doing, we
That's
probably
what
need to
they're
get
trying to get
organized.
us to do.
Yeah.
So we do probably need a chair of each one and to start acting as an independent group.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So those are the dates that are set up for the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all, on June 12th, I'm in Branson. Maggie's got national dance, so I won't be here on the 12th for Brittany and Crystal.
Okay.
So
Y'all tell me when we can move it.
it can be.
Or y'all can do it, and
any
y'all
day.
can just call me. I can phone in. I just won't physically be there.
Okay.
I
So
feel
this
like we
is
kind
just
of
the-
flex them around anyway, you
Yeah,
know, like
we
Yeah.
can move
the
it.
week
it.
before, whatever, it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. And this is just when we're doing a report out. This doesn't mean this is the only time
Right.
we have to
Yeah.
do anything. We probably should be meeting the other times.
So when it gets closer, you can email and ask
Move the
what's a better day or
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so who do we want to, do we have to vote on that? Does that need to be in?
It doesn't have to be voted on, but we do need to write it down.
Okay,
So
so,
organization,
well,
Morgan, Chris, Teresa, or Ginger.
If I'm gonna chair one, I would volunteer to do the promotions. It would be my preference,
Okay.
if that helps. Unless somebody else wants it.
I'll do organizations.
okay,
I'll do design, I guess.
okay.
Yep.
Thank y'all so much. Okay, and economic vitality? It's either gonna be you, Brittany, or Morgan.
No, let me switch.
You want economic
Yeah.
vitality? Okay.
I'll do design then.
And they did say that we're moving in the right direction. They gave us a lot of positive feedback, and they said that, you know, we're doing really well, and the site visit went really well. I was actually pretty proud of myself remembering all
They
the.
gave us a lot of information.
Yeah, they did.
There are lots of, hometown grants available.
Mhm.
Was there any negativity about anything? Not that it was bad,
No.
bad report, but was there anything, hey, gotta
No,
work
they
on
just
this,
want us
or-
to start doing like things that we didn't, that I didn't know that we need to be
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
And like wanting the board and Cassidy to go out talking to the
Mhm.
businesses.
Like, and work on
We're
our.
supposed to collect information from them on a monthly basis so that we report it quarterly.
Mhm.
Like how many full-time and part-time employees.
And I'm gonna work on a form also that we can take with us when we do that. That way it'll be easy for people. I sent out an email this month, but not everybody responds to those emails, so we're gonna have to go in person.
Well, I say that's something you could do, walk in the corner.
Well, it's supposed to be all of us.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying in general.
What they were saying is, like, when it's a city employee, people look at it like it's the government,
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
you know?
Like, why are you asking?
Yeah,
They're
basically.
like you're being nosy.
And I even put that in an email, like, I'm not, this is for, reports, it's not gonna be used for anything else, but,
Yeah.
and I think them seeing, like, the board actually getting out and seeing who's all on it, and
I get it.
instead of just me, I think would be good. I don't mind walking, I mean, I'm here anyways, but, and then we're working on the transformation strategy. We updated it this month, me and Miss Kathy worked on it, but we'll start working on that, cause there's a lot of stuff that,
They reported.
that needs to have volunteers that are assigned to those. So we'll start working on that also.
So as far as that goes, just let me know a day that you'd like to just walk, we can both all,
Well, you let me know a day because I'm here.
well, I know that, but I mean, I don't know.
I'll work around your schedule.
I mean, work it where we do it one morning at 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
That's too cool.
Well, I'm here, so.
Or maybe like tie it into the committee meeting, like
Oh,
right
yeah,
before
well,
lunch.
that'd be a good idea, like one day,
Yeah, you do a
like
three-day-
say our
That's
meeting's
a great
at 1
idea.
o'clock, and I come in here and deal with you at 10:30 or 11,
Yeah.
and that'll give us time to hit most of them, not all of them.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
like that
Then me
though.
and you can go in there with a report and say, hey, this is what we just did,
Mhm.
and we can, kinda get an update on that, we could do that. Cause I can kinda clear most of my morning for that. For whatever day that meeting might be.
I think so.
My schedule's flexible, I mean, unless something just big comes up.
So
I gotta get
I
going.
just turned in the quarterly report today for this quarter, so we'll work on getting all that together. I'll work on a form and when we need to do everything. And then I'll report that, I guess, next month. Work on that next month. So we kinda get a better game plan. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on board
So
first.
you have to touch base with them to satisfy your
Mhm.
reports
Yes.
quarterly?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we backtrack for 1 second? Cause
Sure.
there was something I was gonna bring up and I completely forgot about it. I know we've kinda hit on it before, but I know people miss the wineries events.
They can come to farmer's market.
Mhm.
They can, but I'm talking about for our spring fest for next year, maybe incorporating that in and putting maybe that out on the baseball field. So you've got control of that for the 21 and over.
Mhm.
Cause I would like to see that back. And I mean, that was, I looked forward to that every year. And not
Yeah.
only did we lose, cause we did it twice a year, a
Mhm.
couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and then it went to just the fall, then it's gone away.
Well, I know, well,
And it
year
was
before.
a huge pull, and I think we can build that back to where
Yeah,
it was easily.
it might take somebody else reaching out to them because I reached out to them this year. They were on at the very first one that I planned, and they did not like it. They didn't think it was successful. So when I reached out to them again this year, they told me that they would not be participating. So, was it Red? Yeah, she was one of them.
Well, I mean,
And
I
I
think
get
it may
it.
just be that if it's presented under a successful event, which we
I agree.
did,
I agree.
and it's in a different area and a new board and, completely revamped, we may
Yeah.
be able to pull that back in.
I'm down.
So you'd be saying do the winery event in the ball fields, 21 and
Yeah,
over?
we just have to have a location so we can submit it to TABC.
Well,
And do
You're
it to
talking about
where
doing
they
it-
are staying. They're not leaving at 5 o'clock like they're
Yeah.
accustomed to. They're
Mhm.
staying that evening.
Mhm.
You talking about doing it during the Main Street event,
Mhm.
or
Spring
Springfest? So if that's the case, we can't have our bounce houses in there.
No, well, I mean.
Because if you're doing 21 over in the fields,
Well, we could pull the panels back out and panel it off a section to where
Okay.
it is separated. I
If
mean,
you're
I would like
doing
to see something
tasting,
talked about, like
if
we
you're
talk
doing
about
the
this.
I'm open to that, I just.
Selling them, I mean, them just selling their product,
Yeah.
they can be wherever, but
Yeah.
if they're doing tasting.
Tastings.
I was just trying to get an idea where he's going,
Yeah.
so I just,
I would just like to see this brought back in and let's
Yeah,
talk
I'd be
about it
fine
over
with
the
that,
next year, because I think that that's something that was very successful here. There's people that enjoyed it. I still never understood why it closed down at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, but
that's when everything gets primed up.
yeah. So,
That had
I-
a little politicalness behind it as well.
Yes,
I've
it
been
does.
around for a lot of years and watched that event happen for a lot of years, and it was so successful at the beginning. And then different people changed, and there was
Got angry,
got angry
sold our lists
and
of
said,
their
"Do
cities.
not go to Mount Vernon anymore.
I
Go to
remember
this
that.
event instead." Like there was a lot of stuff
Yeah.
with all that. So, and it's the same wineries. Like, it's the owners, the same owners, so they
Yeah.
have a real sour taste.
yeah.
What is it, maybe tell me at a committee meeting, but what would they get upset about? They just didn't like how we.
Well, just
ran
somebody
it?
that ran it stopped running it
Oh,
and said, "Go to this event instead of this event," and they're very loyal. Like they
Yeah.
were very.
It got very nasty. But maybe there's been enough years and
Yeah.
changes that maybe
Haze
we,
did.
a whole new event.
People moved on, a lot of people aren't here
Yeah,
anymore,
things have
literally, and
Well, maybe we can change it for the better.
No, I agree. It got dirty.
it was a beautiful event.
Mhm.
I mean, at the beginning,
I would just like to see it come back. I mean, not necessarily even in the same way that it was, but just have
Do
something.
you wanna do the dinner again?
I don't want to do dinner again. I don't want to be in charge of that. I think that's a lot of work. I'm just thinking, just bring the
Dinner was a
wineries.
We
lot of
just
work.
discussed this today.
Yeah, bring the wineries back. I mean,
I mean, combining it with the spring event would be an easy way to do it.
yes, and presenting it that way, so it's a completely different feel, a
In their
different
mind though,
area.
they may be an add-on, like it's not
About
Wow,
it.
then. And the wineries that move around to all these events have just a certain number of them. And
Yeah.
it's second Saturday in April is gonna be a prime,
Okay, that was another,
or it's too hot.
that's another thing that was brought up. Somebody at the council meeting asked, why do we do it the second Saturday when we could do it the third Saturday when the bicycle race is happening and there's already so many people in town?
Yeah, and Sulphur Springs and Mount Pleasant do their events on those
Second
Saturdays.
Saturday.
On the second Saturday,
On the
Mhm.
second Saturday in April.
Do we?
that's a fair question.
Do we wanna move it to the third Saturday when they're having the bicycle race?
I mean,
More
how much
people.
traffic, I wouldn't hear, so
Listen,
is
there's
it
a
for
lot
the
of people
bicycle?
It's
everywhere.
a lot of people.
So it might be
Mhm.
overwhelming for downtown to handle both on the same weekend?
But I think if you have that,
But we're in the
I don't
park,
think
so
so.
we're not interfering with them at all as far as our
And
setup.
I think we get the family,
That's,
like
you know, yeah.
whoever's racing is there and out.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
back.
Because the families that are there to support their racers are gonna come over here.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
what I'm saying.
And
Yeah.
they won't be wearing spandex.
Yeah,
Praise
hopefully.
the Lord.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Some things you can't unsee.
No,
Um,
you can't. It's terrible.
What would the feel be with us doing that? How is Rotary gonna feel about that? Would they
Well, ask
support
them.
that?
We'll ask them.
Cause I know when we did Easter one
They-
year, because
they
that's what
do-
it felt,
they-
they weren't happy with us.
Kathy's in Rotary, she can help them understand.
Like, it was, and it was just kids and Easter egg hunt, and they were ticked off.
probably the cars, the influx of cars.
They were not happy
But
with
they
us.
finish pretty early too.
Yeah, they do.
They finish early, so I mean, it's not like.
I mean, I'm just saying, I agree, I think it'd be great to combine the two.
Mhm.
But I know that the year that we did Easter egg hunt on their Saturday, they were not happy with us.
We're gonna let you handle that.
And they do a great job. Rotary does a great job with the bikes, including everything downtown.
Mhm.
They get everybody to eat. They used to feed them and do all that themselves, and they used to have a beer garden and do all that. And now they get coupons and they can go to any restaurant.
Yeah.
So it really is like, here's all the restaurants. Which one? It's really a good.
Yeah, it's very supportive.
Yes,
Mhm.
very supportive.
Well, even if it's not winery, I mean, there's enough whatever they're called, I'm just thinking of something that would help draw in a whole different crowd of people that
Yeah.
would come in and help
Mhm.
grow this. And would sit and spend the day and, not just something in and out.
I think it's a great thing to bring up to
Do what?
somebody on Rotary. I think it's a good thing to.
We can talk to them. It'd be easy if Kathy was the president.
That's what should happen. You don't have enough to do.
Yeah, you need something else.
Okay.
You have to live with me, sir.
Okay.
And they kind of fine
That's all I
tuned it,
got.
but maybe it could be like some help.
If everybody collaborates,
This is
So much
funny.
better.
They're
Yeah.
usually gone by 9, but they're usually leaving to start the race by 9.
Mhm.
We started this at 10.
Right.
And I think,
Perfect timing. They could be, come right over.
Even 11, even if you shifted it an hour
Mm.
and
and
started
then
the music
stayed
at
later.
5, yeah,
yeah,
like,
stay
Yeah.
later.
you're not gonna wear out the vendors, you're not gonna wear out the help,
Yeah.
you're not gonna wear out.
Well, and we could steer the vendors to come in off of the spur this direction, tell them they need to come in that way and not across the
And there
square
needs to
that
be a
morning.
check-in. Oh, we need to have a check-in spot next year.
I was gonna say, that's the other thing that we need one place for them. This is where you check in.
Uh-huh.
That way they're not coming in all the driveways trying to figure out where to go.
and we can mark off who all attended, because there was a couple
Like
that.
have a sign saying check in here. And
Yeah,
tell
because
them,
there was a
hey,
couple that didn't email me until the following Monday. Like, we're so sorry we didn't make it. I'm like, well, I didn't even miss you because I didn't know. But yeah,
Signage the day of down there, anything,
Mhm.
vendors,
Yeah.
parking,
Mhm.
whatever is.
yeah,
the-
I agree. Definitely more signs. Okay, I think we're moving in the right direction. Though.
And cutting off the traffic, because we constantly had people all morning long wanting to drive right
Right
through the
through
middle of the vendors.
Yes.
Or through the food
food
trucks,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all morning,
Yeah.
and just acting confused, and like, you can't see all these trucks parked here?
Or the people walking in the middle of the street.
Or the big cones, maybe. Yeah, but all in all, I think it was a really good event.
I think it was too.
Well, okay then.
All right,
Anybody
make a
have
motion
anything
to
else?
Close, adjourn.
Good.
I'll motion to close.
Deal.
Second.
Any seconds?
Second.
All right, meeting is adjourned.
Okay. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all.
Kathy, you have
No, we gotta go.
You too, Chris.
Getting into my baseball time.